Hey everyone, I just thought I'd throw out a little question for you. What you see in front of you, this is the layout for my next battle in our Battle Group Overlord campaign. Now, it's a 5-battle campaign, and this battle will be number 4. It's a pretty important battle. I lost the previous 2. I won the first. But if he wins this game, if the Americans win this battle, I will lose the campaign. If you win 3 in a row, you lose automatically. So this is a particularly important battle. Now, because I was the loser in the previous battle, I was able to choose whether it was going to be a meeting engagement or a attack-defense type scenario. I chose attack-defense, which made me the defender in that scenario. So we ended up with hold the line. That's the scenario. And I am the defender. And I laid out the table, got it as balanced as I could, and I get to choose the deployment zones, basically. I got to choose one of the 4 edges that will be mine, and the opponent, the Americans, will automatically get the opposite. So my question for you guys is, which edge do you think I should take for my deployment zone? It's a pretty dense terrain table. All the woods are soft cover and count as difficult ground. We've got a little road that goes through this little area, covered on both sides with hedges, which are soft cover. There are some ruined buildings, which count as hard cover and difficult ground. We got some buildings, which count as hard cover. Got some hills, got some fields. Outside of that, it's pretty standard. Now, there is one unique feature to this, and that is there is a central stream running through the table. You can see it starts down here and runs all the way across. There's a little bridge here, a little stone bridge, which will provide hard cover. And it continues off the board. Now, it's about 1 inch to 2 inches thick all along. And it's going to count as difficult, well, not difficult, it's going to count as dangerous terrain. Basically, you only move a D6 for your movement, whether it's a vehicle or infantry. So it's going to slow anybody trying to cross that. That's pretty much its only effect. There's plenty of shrubbery and whatnot along the sides of the river, so there's lots of cover. And it actually goes through this portion of the woods. So, yeah. Now, I've been debating whether this side would be a good deployment edge or that side. Now, basically, whatever edge I choose, I'm going to deploy a bunch of my starting forces in the center of the board. Basically 8 inches to either side of the center line of the board. So if I chose this edge, I'd deploy all my defenses within the central third of the board, which would be like this area up to here. So I'd occupy all this. And this would be my table edge where my reinforcements would arrive, which is nice because I got this nice road and this open space here and access to the high ground. I do have mortars for artillery off board, so high ground is good. In fact, the forces for my army basically are what I had in the previous scenario. No change, except that my forward headquarters became veteran. That's about the only change that happened, and one of my squads is a little bit reduced in strength. But anyway, I'll be deploying, I think it's D3. I think it's D3. I think it's 3 units plus any defenses I've bought. I didn't buy any defenses. Things like trenches and landmines. I didn't buy any. So it's pretty much just units that are going to be deployed in the center area of the table. So I don't know what they'll be. D3 of them can start off an ambush, and D3 of them will also start off pinned. So, risky business. But an important consideration also is the layout of the objective markers. Now there's 3 in this battle, and as the defender, I place 2 in the central portion of the board with my initial defenses, so I'll be able to protect them pretty quick. So 2 of them will be placed anywhere in this area, as is if I was deploying on this side. And a 3rd one can be placed anywhere on the board, and I'd probably place it deep in close to my edge to better protect it. Yeah, so what I've come up with is, okay, I'm either going to deploy on that edge up here or this one. I don't like these 2 as my deployment edge because I really want to take advantage of the buildings and the hard cover. and really control access to that road. So I don't want to take them out of the game. If I deployed down here, it's pretty much going to take all the buildings and road out of the game because he's going to be coming this way, and I'll be down here, which I don't really want to do. So if I was to choose this side, my first choice, I'd have access to the woods. He'd have to cross the river. Remember, it's dangerous terrain. To at least get to at least a couple of my objectives, because I'd place them down. One would be up in here, another one down here, and a third one somewhere else up in here. He's probably going to have to cross this stream, which is going to be tough. The bridge is going to be important. And I'll have access to this road and this open space for bringing on reinforcements, which will be quick for me. I was thinking an objective down here would be good. And 2 more would be placed up in here. I could spread them out as far as I want, so he'd have to spread his forces out too. But an important thing is that he would have to come on from this edge. Now his initial forces will be 10 inches from his edge, so he'd only have access to this woods and maybe this hill, which would be good for him because he has off-board artillery too, mortars. So he'll probably get that hill quick. Yeah, but it's fairly open. He's going to have to come through a lot of open space, which is good for me. He's going to have to fight to get these objectives. I like this edge. Now, the second option would be over on this side. And if we take a little closer look here. And as you can see right there, this is what it would look like. So if I deployed on this edge, my initial forces would be deployed in the center third of the table, which is here. I'd have this big woods. The stream would basically, possibly, cut his forces and mine in half, but I'd have access to the bridge. So, yeah. My reinforcements got some nice open ground. They don't have to worry about it, but they would have to cross these hedges, which is an obstacle. So it would slow them down if I want to get my troops over here quickly. I have access to the buildings. I'll have access to all the buildings, including the ruins, which is nice. I want that. Most of the woods would be mine. Probably have to fight for possession of that hill if I wanted to. He'd definitely have possession of this hill once again to call down his mortar support. So that's an issue. But again, if I had that edge, my initial forces would be deployed in here, something like that. The central third of the table. So you can see what I would have and where 2 of my objectives would be placed. The third objective would be probably back in here somewhere. I could put it anywhere I want, but I'd probably choose back in here. Got buildings and stuff. Maybe the bridge would make a good objective. Yeah, so that's what it would be. He'd have to fight through these woods, most likely, which will slow him down. He's got this big open space. I like that. Put some troops up in here. You know, mow him down with some machine gun fire. I don't know. He does have Shermans, 3 of them. I could see them coming up in this area. But yeah, so if I took this edge, that would pretty much be the situation. I'd have possession of all the nice cover, really. And he'd have to fight his way down like this. And I'd have access to the road as well, so I could shift forces back and forth as needed. This is a squad level game. There's not a heck of a lot of units in the game, but this road will be important for shifting forces either way. And again, if I take this edge down here, it's a similar kind of situation. I'd have the third of a board like this, where I deploy. He'd be coming on over here, and it's a similar situation. He's got a lot of open terrain. He'd have access to the road. He'd probably want to come down this way, which is good because I'd be able to predict that, set up some proper defenses here. I'd have 2 objectives up in here somewhere, and another objective probably deep in my deployment zone down in here, like maybe down close to these ruins, or back here behind the woods and hill. But yeah, that's the options. Either way, it's going to be tough for him. Yeah, so what do you guys think? We're looking at this side or this side for my deployment edge. Now, I got 2 tanks. I got a Panzer IV, Stug. I got 2 squads of infantry. One is elite. They're Panzer Grenadiers. And I got a recon foot patrol. And I got some off-board 80mm mortars. And of course, my forward headquarters and half-track. He's got, I believe, a platoon of 3 Shermans. One's a 76. He's got a Jeep Recon. He's got 2 M20s, which are Recon. He's got an armored infantry squad with 30 cal, which are all elite except the 30 cal in the transport, which is an M3 half-track. And he has 81 millimeter off-board artillery. I believe that's all his forces. Yeah, that's about it. So, okay, give me some ideas and some feedback. Tell me what you think. And I hope you enjoy the look of the table. I tried to make it dense because I am the defender. I want to make it as hard as possible. Again, if I lose this battle, I lose the campaign. He's actually kicking my ass in the campaign for victory points-wise. I think I only have like 7 points, and he's got like 20, something like that. Yeah, so it's not looking good. So I have to win this battle. Okay, folks. I'll probably video this battle too. Show you which edge I deployed on and run down a battle report. It's going to be bloody. Okay, folks, tell me what you think. Thank you very much.